hosts of PWF Empire Live will be evaluating the attributes of 3 selected wrestlers in a scenario where you can only push one, have to give one a new gimmick, and you're forced to fire the third in this edition of Push, Repackage, Release.
We are going to focus on the main eventers of WWE Fastlane: Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose, and Brock Lesnar.
This is easy for me.
No Xavier Woods.
Oh, fuck. Okay, so yeah, release Reigns, push Lesnar, repackage Ambrose. That's all it is, because Ambrose is my favorite, potentially. I keep saying that. And I think Brock is just something that you can't afford to lose. Now, I like Reigns a lot, but look, there's nothing you can get out of Reigns that you can't get out of Ambrose. I think he fulfills the same role and more, potentially. So that's just how it's going to have to be for me. And I would consider releasing Lesnar, but you got to keep Lesnar around. I know he's beginning to run out of opponents, so that's one reason why I might consider releasing him, because there's gonna come a point where this guy, like, who is he gonna fight anymore, you know? But still, Lesnar is the most credible guy. He's the biggest commodity they have, and to be honest, like, there are times where this product sucks, but if Lesnar's there, I could still find something to enjoy. So I don't want to get rid of that. Whereas Reigns, it's hit or miss. He has lots of potential, but still hit or miss. And if he gets injured, I'm not gonna really be missing him all that much, So yeah, that's my push repackage release.
What are you gonna repackage Dean Ambrose into?
Yeah, someone who doesn't suck. How about that? No, but it's gonna be like what me and Evan keep talking about. The guy you saw on the Terminator commercial. That's Dean Ambrose. And then, but yeah, the guy in that Terminator commercial is what I want to repackage him as. I want him to be this sort of like gritty, casual, just sort of badass. The Han Solo type. The guy who just, he may not be the best wrestler, he may not be the strongest guy, but he's just enough. This is a babyface Ambrose, by the way. If we're talking heel, that's a whole different story. But I'm talking babyface right now. So that's.
Can I just say that I really dislike you right now? I do.
Why? Because I broke up the Brothers in Arms. Is that why?
No, because when you mentioned Han Solo, I'm like, God damn it, that sounds good. And
Yeah,
I have an agenda. I have
at-
an agenda, or I have an opinion of my own. But I guess we'll get there.
When I look at Ambrose, I actually see Harrison Ford quite a bit. I don't know if I'm the only one, but I really do. Like, I see that sort of just nonchalant, laid-back kind of guy that Han Solo portrayed. And he was one of those popular characters in Star Wars. He wasn't the main character, but he was the badass. He was the protagonist who developed from sort of a jackass to a decent, human being. So that's how I see Ambrose. And Lesnar, it's hard to say you could push Lesnar, at this point. He has nowhere to go but down, actually. So you can't really push him. So that's my way of saying I would continue to push him. I would just keep up what they're doing. That's fine. Evan, back me up on the Terminator Ambrose. The guy from the Terminator commercial.
Oh, 100%. And I feel like what we had on this past week's show was a little bit more like that in a way, honestly, because he wasn't afraid to do anything. He wasn't afraid to call somebody out. But yeah, I'd like to see him burning some cigar into somebody. I think that's a little bit more like, that crazy SOB at the same time too. Okay, for me, let's see, release. Who's going home? Oh man, it's tough, because if Ambrose is the right version of Ambrose, then I really think he can do a lot. I really see a lot in Roman Reigns too, but yeah, I don't really want to release Roman Reigns because I am a fan of his. But out of these three, right now, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna release Roman Reigns. I'm going to repackage Dean Ambrose and push Brock Lesnar. And I don't want to sound like I'm copying from Steven here, but it pretty much is exactly how I feel, because Dean Ambrose repackaged could be a great essential element as a babyface or a heel. I really can see so much with him. There's just so much room for him to grow, where I feel like Roman Reigns is more of a one-dimensional character who is working effectively right now. So it's not easy to just sit here and say, yeah, like, throw him to the wolves. But at the same time, pushing Brock Lesnar is there's really nothing else to do. You'd be crazy to release a guy like that, and there's really nowhere to repackage him at this point in time. He's too well known, well established. There's nowhere else to go with him besides that he's the beast, and I think his credibility speaks for itself. So he's gonna get the push.
You guys put me in a really tough spot here, but I'm gonna go ahead and push Brock Lesnar. That guy screams legitimacy to me. I've said it before, when Brock Lesnar shows up, shit goes down, and he's one of the most powerful forces in WWE history. Like, how people used to look at Andre the Giant and just that force and that power that he wielded and just him alone. I think Brock Lesnar does that in his entire act, or something very similar, the new age version of it, with the legitimacy that he brings to the table with the UFC background and also the background that he had in WWE. Just adding all of that together to one complete picture. That guy is a legit monster, so very easy to push him. When it comes down to Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns, who goes to the repackage, who goes to the release, I am going to have to slot Dean Ambrose in the release and Roman Reigns in the repackage, because if we're basing what we've seen from these two guys on WWE TV, as far as I'm concerned, Roman Reigns, he's better in the ring than Dean Ambrose is. Yeah, I said it. Yup. Roman Reigns has a better moveset than Dean Ambrose does.
I mean, I'm not going to disagree with that.
And the thing that you said earlier, Steven, I think you said something like you said something like Dean Ambrose at his best, you think you could get more out of him than you could get out of Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
I believe that Roman Reigns at his best, I could get more out of him than I could possibly get out of Dean Ambrose. And that's not a slight to Dean Ambrose and who he is as a talent. It's just that I've seen glimpses of what I would like to see on a more consistent basis from Roman Reigns, and I could use that to base his character going forward. And I also talked about it in the past, making Roman Reigns into a Pentagon Jr. type figure for WWE, just this merciless beast who just goes out there, beats ass, and, you know, takes names and takes arms and uses them as collector's items. Like, I would like to see something like that for Roman Reigns. Not pushing him through the bastardized babyface machine that WWE has, but actually charting out his own course and letting him be the silent badass, or maybe even push him in the same vein of like a I don't know if we could go like the cerebral assassin Triple H, because as much as I like Roman Reigns, cerebral wouldn't be a word that I would use to describe him. So I don't know, but just like a big, powerful badass, you know, Pentagon Jr. type. That's what I would like to see from Roman Reigns. So that's it for our version of Push Repackage Release. Love it if you guys let us know what you thought and who you would slot into these different areas.